everybody, welcome back. We've had quite a time for the last 2 hours. We had a little, train derailment. We had another one, like what's his face? DJ Khaled, another one.
Where?
Another one.
Good God.
Another hazardous chemical leak. This time at Yellowstone. Have you ever been to Yellowstone? You seem like
the national park.
You seem like a national
park.
park.
There's a train that goes through there?
Yeah, some bridge underneath it collapsed and all this hazardous waste spilled out again, which just happened. Yeah, massive. And then no one's talking about it. There'll probably be another cover up, but yeah.
What's going on with their trains? Didn't a bunch of explosives go missing on a train in Arizona?
Oh, did they? I don't know.
60,000 pounds of explosives went missing on a train in Arizona 3 months ago, and the FBI got involved.
They're in Ukraine by now.
Yeah,
yeah, they're not. They're no longer here. But yeah, so another one of those happened. But what I find interesting is that once again, you don't hear about it. Yeah. Every time we have, and you know what it is? The infrastructure in the U.S. is completely failing.
Oh, it's horrific.
Hanging by a thread.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere you go, you see everything's falling apart. And, I've kind of been conditioned to think in LA, it's well, why would you keep it up? Because some, a homeless guy's going to come in and destroy it probably.
Yeah, remember
or a bunch
Amazon?
of looters or...
Remember that loot pile they had?
No, which loot?
Oh my God.
Which one?
The loot.
Which one?
Outside of town, there was a train got derailed and just or trains would stop and there was an Amazon loot pile. You didn't see photos of that shit?
Oh, I think I might have. Yeah, because this was a minute ago.
This was 6 months ago.
Yeah. It sounds very familiar.
The loot pile.
The loot pile. Yeah, there's another loot pile in the Whole Foods dumpster every single night. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
They throw everything away, and the homeless people just kind of go. Actually, they don't. That food completely goes to waste. You don't really hear homeless people wanting food really. You never hear anybody that's homeless wanting food. I've never,
dumpster diving. I feel like dumpster diving is just for Gen X guys who never grew up.
Yeah,
and they read the Anarchist Cookbook, and they're all Republican now.
The Anarchist Cookbook, that sounds really familiar.
They're all Republican now, but they have nose rings, and then they go and they get 3-day-old meat out of the fucking dumpster at Whole Foods.
I'm not above it. Sometimes I visualize myself doing that and.
You in a dumpster would be a terrifying image.
Yeah.
You scurrying in and out of the dumpster.
I always like to imagine the worst possible scenario so that wherever I end up, I think, well, at least I'm not in the Whole Foods dumpster.
Is this apocalyptic scenario or a homeless scenario?
I don't know. It's if, trains get derailed, my mind gets derailed.
What was on the train? What kind of chemical?
Fuck if I know. I mean, I just know I just know when I hear about something over and over and over again, it's not good. There's been too many train derailments, and I went my whole life never hearing about a train derailment, and then the last year it's just train derailment after train derailment, and I didn't even know trains could get derailed. I had no idea. I thought the whole point of a train is that it can't stop.
All the time. It's crazy. It happens
News to me.
Fucking trains because people come into my bar because the train gets derailed. A train will get derailed.
Well, that's an actual train that people are going on commercially, for transportation. It's not a freight train.
And then there's the train accident by the Home Depot years ago.
Okay.
I met a guy who was on that train. He came into my bar. Yeah, a bunch of people died on that one. And then,
Jesus.
Yeah, taking a plane is statistically safer than taking a train because derailments happen so often.
Okay.
I heard that once. But yeah, the train gets the train to San Diego was shut down for months because they kept getting derailed by the nuclear power plant there. I love how they always get derailed in places that it's the last place you want them to be derailed. Right? It's always by the nuclear power plant over Old Faithful.
They get derailed wherever there's been a UFO landing, interestingly enough. Yeah. Is it a coincidence? Is it? Who knows? I don't know. I find it very odd that I went my whole life not hearing ever about a train getting derailed. And I was like, these, trains be derailing all the time. And I had no idea that this was such a big phenomenon. But some people there's conspiracies about it at this point. But I just found it interesting. I did think, obviously that's not going to touch the submarine story. Submarine story is, people can't get enough of the submarine. And now Netflix bought the rights for Titanic next month. So they're going to come out. Yeah. Everyone's more.
Are they gonna make a documentary about it?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they'll make and probably a live action movie about this too. I imagine. It happens
so quickly though. It's there's nothing there's no if it was Das. You ever seen Das Boot?
Mm-mm.
It's a movie about a submarine, but there's a scene with the submarine. They have to go super deep in the submarine to the point where all the men on the submarine have to go to sleep to conserve oxygen.
Right.
And rivets are coming out of the submarine and they're trying to it's so scary.
That's
the submarine's
terrifying.
Clanking because it's getting crushed, but this was It was like instantaneous.
Well, everyone thinks they're a submariner now, or everybody thinks they're like an oceanographer because of this story. I mean, this story dragged out way longer than it needed to. The Navy knew that the thing imploded and like didn't tell anybody.
I don't blame them though. People always blame. I don't blame because they didn't. You don't tell anyone until you know.
They did know though, because they lost. Sound. They lost communications at the exact same time that they lost sound, and the Navy said like, yeah, we knew it was them, but we waited for I don't know what reason.
See the wreckage. You got to see the wreckage first. You know what I mean? It could have been like a maybe like a whale farted or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounded like a pretty. Listen, I don't know, but I just know that everybody was imagining the worst possible scenario. These 5 uber, rich people, that spent so much money going down here, and they're just dying in the worst possible way. It's like, I mean, it really is a nightmarish scenario. I'm sure the people that want to make the movie about it are like actually really bummed and disappointed that it wasn't as disgustingly like horrific as it could have been had they ended up living past the time that they did. Because we were thinking, I mean, they must have died like Sunday or some shit, like a few hours after their descent down there.
Yeah, I think it was like an hour and a half.
And so for 4 days, we're all just sitting here doing Reddit threads and fucking, I mean, did you see this WFLA guy, this interactive news guy, JB Buno? What do you know about JB Buno? I'll show him to you. I knew nothing about JB Buno, but they're doing this new like Gabby Petito news model where he got big with the Gabby Petito case because he does live streams, Sean, for 15 hours a day about the story about Gabby Petito or the submarine or whatever it is.
Oh my God.
No, it's like, I don't even know how you could possibly come up with that much. He does though. They get experts in there. I mean, and to his credit, these are like real oceanographers that he had on, real, maritime men, but he's like, this is an important story. Everybody seems to care about it, and we cover the things people care about. And I'm like, yeah. So there's a lot of, there's a squadron of middle-aged women in Tampa that are just glued to their screen. There's 90,000 people watching this live stream.
It's the royal wedding, but the disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's a disaster porn of the same kind of the same whatever goes off in your head, whatever neurotransmitters go off in your head when you see Meghan Markle walking down the aisle. Is the same one that happens when you see a submarine full of billionaires just literally implode and cease to exist. They just vanished. I mean, they literally vanished. The thing like folded itself like a I don't know, like a pastry.
I saw the Taliban footage.
What is that?
The Taliban, the universe. It was like the Taliban have like a university that did like a mock-up footage thing. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh my God, the Taliban's like Twitter page is like the University of like Kabul or something. They made like a mock-up and they're like,
of the submarine?
Yeah, just cracks.
Oh, geez. So they actually made like a...
No, not like a physical model. It's like a 3D image.
Oh, of this exact disaster?
Yeah, it looked like something out of like a B movie.
Why are they doing that?
They're a school. They got students.
Hey, at least they have a reason. The rest of us are just freaks over here like watching this. But I don't know. It kind of made me realize like the blind... I just can't imagine having that much money and that's what I want to do. I want to go to the bottom of the ocean. I really want to go rubbernecking at the bottom of the fucking ocean.
That's so funny. Did you come up with the rubbernecking? That's insane.
Well, I mean, I didn't come up with the term rubbernecking, but that's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing.
They're literally
so
they're rubbernecking on the ocean floor.
Wow,
that's what
so
they're doing.
Funny. Wow.
I mean, that is what they're doing. It's like the way you turn your head and you see like an accident on the freeway. Yeah. They're just doing that at the bottom of the ocean.
That's great.
And all the stakes are elevated when you have that much money. You're like, oh, I don't want to look at just any accident. I want to look at an accident of all time that's been there. And by the way, guess what else? This is what made me actually interested because I didn't. What? I really wanted to talk about the submarine because I felt left out that I didn't get to talk about it last week when everybody talked about it. Because John, you brought it up last week because you knew all about the submarine. All right, I'm sorry, it's not even a submarine; it's a submersible. Excuse me. Okay, God damn. Yeah, it's a submersible. You told me about it, and I fucking didn't know what you're talking about because I didn't look into it because it was like being an idiot. And then it all happens and everybody talks about it. And like, here I am missing out on this massive story that really shouldn't be a massive story. But I did get interested in it because when I looked into this guy
Which one?
The one that he's the guy. He's the guy for the submarine.
My favorite was the Pakistani. I looked at him. Yeah, I was all about him.
Hold on. So there's one guy who was like this hot explorer who died, PH Nergole or whatever, this like apparently legendary guy, which I'm like, why the fuck did he go down there? But R.I.P. Listen, R.I.P. to everybody. Okay, no one deserves to die this way.
He had the hot picture. All of them had like pictures of them in like offices.
And one of them's like in a Blue Origin suit.
Yeah,
you know,
all of them were like LinkedIn photos, and then his was like him like looking off into a sunset, and he was like hot. Yeah,
because he actually did some stuff that was impressive. Apparently, I mean, listen, the other guy is Hamish Harding. What a name, Hamish Harding.
Everybody thinks it's like a Middle Eastern name, but it's just actually if you go far, if the more purebred British you are, the more Middle Eastern you sound.
Yeah, that's so fucking circle. Funny. Holy shit, it goes totally full circle.
It's like the more it's like it's the circle. It's like horseshoe theory. It's like you get like the more right wing purebred British you are, the more you sound like the guy running the Pakistani guy running the 7-Eleven down the street from you in England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if your skin actually gets darker too somehow?
Yeah, you
like
just slowly become Apu.
Yeah. So funny. Dude, that's
Hamish
so
Harding?
true. Hamish Harding. Yeah. So he was on there, but the guy, why is his name escaping me? The main guy, Stockton. What a name too. Stockton. Yeah, I knew a guy growing up named Stockton. But yeah, Stockton, what the fuck is his last name, dude? Because John, when you hear about his lineage and you hear about the reason he really was so obsessed with this, it's even fucking weirder. And this guy that
did he have a family?
Stockton Rush.
His great grandpa was Billy Zane.
Yeah, Billy Zane's the guy in Titanic. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even fucking realize that. Oh my god, I was like, who the fuck is Billy Zane? Okay, no, this is who he is. Okay, Stockton Rush. And he's good looking. So it's like you really had it all, dude. You really had absolutely everything.
If you spend your life on the sea, you're just going to end up being good looking.
I don't think so.
There's a lot of seafaring people that are just good looking.
Some of them look like sea creatures.
Yeah, all those professional surfers, they all like. Do you know Kelly? I think Kelly Slater is like in his 60s or something. He looks great.
Yeah,
I need to fact check that.
He's super athletic. I don't think he's in his 60s. He must be in his 50s.
I might be crazy. If he's in his 60s, I'm crazy. Okay,
he's really cool.
Stockton
was this is what he was. Mm-hmm. He was the CEO of OceanGate. All right. I don't know what you guys talked about on Hate Watch, or if you saw that CBS video of him like saying that he's basically skirting all of these safety precautions because he thinks safety is underrated.
His submarine sucked ass.
Huh?
His submarine sucked ass.
It was like a really shitty submarine.
His submarine
was like
blew.
Extremely fucking.
I would feel more comfortable going underwater in this Electrolyte Zero bottle than his fucking submarine.
I mean, that is what it was. He might as well have just been going down there in Tupperware. It was really, really fucking embarrassing. But he said, he was born into a wealthy family in San Francisco.
Of course.
Not just any wealthy family. Wait till you find out who this family is. He was the youngest of 5 children born to Stockton Rush Jr. of Philadelphia and Ellen Rush of San Francisco. His maternal grandfather was Ralph K. Davies. Okay, some political appointee, whatever. Mm-hmm. And his maternal grandmother was a philanthropist and the namesake of the Louise M. Davies Symphony Hall in San Francisco. So, people that are donating buildings and stuff like that. Through his father, he was a descendant of 2 signers of the Declaration of Independence, Richard Stockton and physician Benjamin Rush. Yeah, he's a descendant of this guy, of one of these, okay?
Interesting.
A white wig, as I call them. So, literally founding fathers of his country, he's descendants of them. As a child, he dreamt of being an astronaut and becoming the first person on Mars and had an interest in aviation and aquatics. He began scuba diving at age 12 and became a commercial pilot at 18 years old. He was later told his visual acuity would disqualify him from becoming a military pilot, blah, blah, blah. I want to find out about his grandparents. Okay, dude. In a 2022 podcast with CBS reporter David Pogue, this is the video I watched. It just fucking blew my mind. And that guy went down there with him in this. I knew that it was going to be problematic, but it went. And problematic, I don't know, filled with problem. You can't say that word anymore with the meaning. It's always about like race now.
The submersible was touching butts.
Exactly.
The submersible ran American Apparel for 4 years.
Yeah, it was extremely racist. What is it? Submersible.
It was a sub.
It was a sub. In 2022 podcast, he said Rush discussed his attitude towards what he perceived as excessive safety precautions. At some point, safety is just pure waste. I mean, if you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed, don't get in your car, don't do anything about it. At some point, you're going to take some risk, and it really is a risk-reward situation. Yeah, I don't think like getting in a car and going to bed is the same thing as going to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah,
the most mysterious place of all time. Just a hunch. I don't know. He says, I think I can do this just as safely by breaking the rules. Buddy, what? like, and I don't mean to speak ill of the dead here, but he killed 4 people. I mean, this guy effectively killed 4 people. He effectively killed 4 innocent people. He married another super, super, super wealthy, powerful woman. They had 2 children. His wife is the great granddaughter of Isidor and Ida Strauss, both of whom died in the sinking of the Titanic.
Huh.
And she was the director of communications at OceanGate. I remember reading about Ida Strauss because I was obsessed with the Titanic in the 2nd grade. Obsessed. I did a whole research project on them.
There's one person with the same name as you.
Yeah. So in my,
rare name,
narcissistic 2nd grade, I was like, nobody has my name. Everybody that has my name is super old. Well, of course she is. Born in 1849. I think my name was the most common name in the U.S. in 1898.
What?
1898.
Interesting.
Yeah. Ida is very, so it's everybody's great grandmother's name. So Isidor Strauss, so he was, I don't know why I'm saying it like that, Isidor Strauss, U.S. congressman and co-owner of Macy's. And she was the wife, and that's his wife's family. And then his family are founding fathers. Okay. And this is what they decided to dedicate their life to. Not like, I mean, listen, if they were really trying to do some research on what the fuck exists at the bottom of the ocean, maybe, not for nothing, maybe look for some fucking, extraterrestrial life. I mean, it is kind of like alien down there. The fish are kind of aliens. Like, what's going on down there? Nobody knows.
There's a lot of like big animals we don't know about at the bottom.
They find 20 new species of animal like every year. Again, learn that from the WFLA JB Buno live stream. Yeah. He did literally 4 to 5. I mean, whatever you think of the guy, whatever you think of the reporting, I like JB. I think I wish he could like extrapolate from these stories and make them a little bit more meaningful, like as it relates to everybody. Because you can take this and say like there's not enough regulation on stuff like this. You could say,
well, how do you regulate? There's like 0. There's like 4.
Well, you would have to, because it wouldn't actually probably be that difficult because there's not that many people doing deep sea explorations. Like it's a super rare thing to even want to do. So with that, you could actually put some precautions in place to like stop people from being able to because what he was doing wasn't just going down there and like exploring, at his own volition. He was doing all that, but people were paying $250,000 a pop to go with him under the pretense that like hopefully they live. And I know in the contract they signed it says it could lead to death. Yeah. But like you shouldn't be able to just like go pay for a trip. You know what I mean?
That sucks so much ass.
It's crazy.
Imagine dying down there.
Well, honestly, the way they died, they didn't even know that they died, which makes it great. Like they just didn't even know it happened.
They just fucking popped.
Dude, no. Do you know how it happened? It's insane.
I know it was like they heated up to like the surface of the sun for like a split second.
I didn't know what an implosion was, but an implosion is the reverse of an explosion. It gets sucked into some vortex and then it no longer exists. It's like vanishing. It's like literally, it's like vanishing.
Yeah, you get smashed into the smallest bit it could possibly be. You get under that pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
there's no bodies.
No bodies. No. Not at all.
I saw online, it might have been fake, but I saw a picture of the wreckage and it had the controller on it.
That's got to be fake.
It was very good.
That's got to be fake.
I was hoping it was real.
I mean, the Fisher Price fucking. I mean, this is a Fisher Price submarine. The guy took a Fisher Price submarine to the bottom of the ocean, and it imploded. And he's all kind of like, I don't care. If you die, you die. It's like, I mean, that's fine. But why do 4 other people, one of whom is like a legendary explorer? Why's he got to go with you? And why did that guy go down there with him on this?
Yeah, why do you pick the shittiest submarine?
And they all kind of knew.
I know there's better submarines.
James Cameron was really pompous about it, but he was right. Like
James Cameron was a real dickbag.
Who was he a dickbag to? To the guy that killed them?
James Cameron was talking like he was in the hunt for Red October and he like knew everything about submarines. That guy's awesome.
I hate to say it, he kind of did.
He does.
Like he kind of like knew everything about submersibles. He literally designed a submersible. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, good. I'm glad he's the one that directed Titanic. But how fucking crazy Netflix is going to buy the rights to that next month?
I hope it's directed by James Cameron, and it's just really obviously he like hires like what would be the actor he hires to play that captain? He'd hire like Michael Cera.
Michael Cera.
James Cameron's like the weakest guy on earth.
They're gonna hire The Weeknd to play Stockton Rush. It was kind of crazy hearing him talk about it because apparently this community of submariners and people that know about deep sea stuff, it's like extremely small. They all knew each other.
Yeah.
So he said that in the submarine community, they've all been saying that this is a problematic submersible. Like this submersible is destined to fail, and they all had talked about it. That this is like a really awful idea.
I mean, did you see the inside of other like submarines or what?
No,
submersibles?
should we do a submarine tour?
Yeah, do a submarine tour. There's like
Architectural Digest submarine
hold
tour.
on, I would just look
Hi
up.
AD, welcome to my submersible.
I would look up. I would just look up like Titanic submarine.
I really wonder what a submarine actually looks like. Submarine tour? Like what comes up if
I mean, like, yeah. Okay, so not the ocean. I'm gonna get let's see if I get okay, while you do that, I'm gonna try to source other submarines that go to the Titanic.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to be, because James Cameron did. He spent more time on there than the captain of the Titanic, apparently.
Yeah, but if you look up Titanic submarine, they're all just that one stupid submarine that imploded, excuse me.
And it's like, did you see the CBS story of him going down there?
James Cameron?
No, this.
Oh yeah,
CBS?
that guy. Yes, I did.
It fucking is crazy.
It's one of the most cringy fucking things.
The guy just the reporter, like every time something broke, he's like, "Yeah, those things broke. They're not supposed to break. Like that's not supposed to happen."
Yeah, and you get drilled into the fucking sub too, which is scary as hell.
What?
Oh, MIR sub. Here we go.
You get drilled in.
Look at that submarine, dude. Oh, that looks unmanned. That submarine looks kick ass.
I never saw this one. Holy shit, did you see this?
No, play it.
So we're coming into the sub. This is the only toilet available
coming
on
into
deep diving
the sub, huh?
submersible.
Yeah.
Best seat in the house. You can look out the viewport. We put a privacy screen in, turn up the music, and it's very popular.
They're playing
We have
Half-Life 2 on that
Yeah,
thing.
screen
dude.
here, our sonar
It'd be a
screen
great way to
here.
go out.
We can put any image we want in the back. We've taken a completely new approach.
Unbelievable,
to the
this
sub
guy.
design, and it's all run with this game controller and these touch screens. So if you want to go forward,
He wants to live stream on Twitch from the fucking ocean floor. Unbelievable.
I always think it's demeaning when adults sit crisscross applesauce.
It really is. It's also demeaning when they die in a tin can made of carbon
This is the
fiber.
second year we've been out to the Titanic. We went out in 5 8-day missions. We did about 10 dives to the wreck site of the Titanic, and we did an extra dive on an undiscovered reef that we found.
You
Completely
unbelievable
privately funded,
scumbag.
operation, and
I
we're
really
funded by
can't.
mission specialists.
I just can't believe what this guy
They
did.
quite a bit of money to come and join us. Years ago,
Has all the
Russians
money
took
and
tourists
resources
out
and
to
obviously the
to
intelligence
Titanic,
to build
and it
something
was
like
just
this
sort
to
of a
begin
look and see
with.
thing.
Why
We
cut
really are
every
focusing
corner
on the science
to try to
around it.
save
We
a
wanna
couple
document
dollars?
What the wreck is like now, and also try to
He
predict
really did it to save money, and he's incredibly wealthy. Like incredibly wealthy.
Yeah, well, he honestly doesn't have to. I mean, he's a nepo baby with a submarine.
Yeah. They think that they're God. I mean, they really think that they're God's gift. I mean, is that a submarine?
I know there are other submarines that have visited the Titanic, and the only thing that's coming up is this dumb fucking sub.
It's been very rare. Of course, Mr. Beast is going to capitalize on this.
Yeah, he was like invited to the submarine.
With the whole world watching the rescue efforts of
hell
the
is
missing
this?
submarine
My
around the
personal
Titanic,
experience.
I
Why does
thought
this
I'd
have
share
7
my
million?
experience of Mission 3 just a few weeks ago, and
This
if
is
my
crazy.
dive wasn't canceled, it could have been me inside that submarine today. This is a picture taken of Stockton Rush and I, the
Oh my
owner
God.
of OceanGate Expeditions, as I was weighing in for
This
our
guy
sub
fucking
dive for the
avoided
day.
death.
In my hands, I have a chocolate chip cookie, 2 peanut butter jelly sandwiches, and of course my camera equipment so I can record and document my experience in the submersible. What you're about to watch is footage from Mission 3, days before the submersible went missing on Mission 5. It has taken place on the exact same ship, and I was also in the exact same submersible that is missing today. All the footage you're watching is either filmed by me.
How did you
or
put this
my
video
beautiful
together so
girlfriend,
fast?
Kendall,
Did you
who
kill
joined
him?
me for this
Oh,
adventure.
he's
For more
like-
behind the
Is this
scenes
Mr.
footage,
Beast?
make sure you
Who's
check
this?
out her social
No,
media.
some
I'll have
rando.
links to that in the description below. Let's start off this video as I
Mr.
originally
Beast was smart
intended.
enough to
Please
turn
keep
it
in
down
mind there's
when
a
he
lot of
offered to go down
smiles
there.
and a lot of laughs.
Mr.
We
Beast's
honestly had
fucking
no idea what would
private
happen in the days to
insurance
come.
agent
So
was
without
probably
further
like,
ado,
no.
let's
Yeah.
start things off
Fuck
at my
no.
hometown,
His boss at
Columbus,
the
Georgia,
Central
where we had a quick
Intelligence
drive
Agency
to
was like,
Atlanta,
not a
Georgia,
chance,
where we
bud.
hopped on our first flight and landed in Toronto. Got the big camera, got my pillow.
I wanna
And we are
see.
ready to go for an amazing adventure, a once-in-a-lifetime adventure. Kendall, you ready?
Yep.
All right, now we just gotta make it through security.
You wouldn't catch
Hopefully I
me
didn't leave anything bad in my bag.
stepping into that fucking thing.
Oh,
Ever.
not while it's docked. Not
All right,
while
we
it's
just made it on the boat.
ever.
I'm
Do you remember the
excited.
submarine
A little bit nervous.
ride at
Everyone's
fucking
working
Disneyland?
right now. I'm gonna get out of every-
No.
everyone's
That
way.
shit scared
And
me.
if they need
Oh,
help,
no, I don't
I'll
know
help,
it.
obviously.
They used to have a submarine ride at Disneyland.
That's what it should be. It should be a carnival ride.
Yeah.
Then again,
It was actually just a ship
Look at
with
the
a bottom.
inherent trust we put into rides. We're over here like, I'd never get into that thing, and then I like get into a roller coaster.
Well,
I'm like, what is wrong with me that I'll get into an airplane?
The submarine ride at Disneyland, it wasn't actually underwater. It was just a boat that you could like had stairs down and then you
it's
view
not that
underwater,
crazy.
and there was like Finding Nemo under the water.
It's the carnival.
sick.
Disneyland is one thing, but the carnival rides at the state fairs that you just kind of like blindly put your trust into
with a
when
meth
you're
addict
children.
running it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, why is people die? I mean, people legit die on roller coasters all the time, and nobody talks about it.
Yeah, because some guy's coming down off. He's doing a speedball while he's fucking.
I mean, at least they're gonna say the fucking Titanic. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, well, you're for a 2-minute ride, you're gonna risk your life. Like,
I would
why
love
did I
to
ever
see-
do that?
I would love to see a submarine designed by carnies.
By what?
By carnies.
Who's carnies?
Carnies are people who work at carnivals.
Oh,
Carnies.
I didn't know that. That's
Carnies
great.
rock.
They
dude.
have a name.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's a
so
whole
cool.
subgroup of people.
It's a subgroup of submariners.
There we go.
So this is our room for the next few nights. It's sweet, huh? Check it out. Got a double bunk bed. I claimed the top one. Kendall's
Very
got
good.
the bottom one. I've got to be a
Great.
little quiet. Like I said, there's people sleeping. Got a couch, all our camera gear, clothes, all the stuff we need. And
It was pretty
I even brought
nice.
my pillow from home.
This is cool. This is
And
good.
I brought a tiny
It's the
pillow
size of
just in
4
case I want to bring it in the
submersibles.
submarine because I heard it could take up to 14 hours to get back to the surface. So yeah, I'm definitely bringing a little pillow.
Bro.
But yeah, check it out. Look.
Dude.
Got a little sink,
I would.
a closet. Oh, here.
Dude, I don't like getting into any boat, to be honest.
Well, yeah, we
I don't
have
like
a
any
beautiful
boat.
view,
I don't like boats.
couch.
I don't want to be in a
I
boat.
fuck with boats heavy.
Mirror.
I fuck with the
a
open
shower
ocean
as
too.
well.
I have
I
to
don't have
go
a
on
problem
a
swimming
boating
in
trip
open
in
ocean.
July, and I'm
So,
nervous.
this is
Like,
Where?
I
our
don't. I
personal
just don't
space.
even.
It's
I can't
honestly
remember
everything we
where,
need,
but I
we
just
feel
am
very
like
comfortable. Right now, they're
nervous
getting
to
all
get
the
on a
submarine stuff
boat.
all
So
ready
a
to go. They're hooking
submarine,
that
I'm
up
like,
so we can
what?
tow out
What?
and make our
Like,
way to the
why?
Titanic.
I've
So
snorkeled a lot
I'm
in
gonna
the
sneak to
ocean.
the kitchen, grab myself a cookie, and we'll
I've,
just kind of
Snorkeling
what we want to do.
is-
Snorkeling kicks ass.
That looks.
Literally,
That's not
it's
the
like
same
we have
thing as.
nothing to do for the
I
next couple
confuse
days on the ship.
snorkeling with.
Unless someone tells us
Scuba
something to do.
diving.
Correct.
Snorkeling, you don't have a tank.
So
You
right
just have a
across
little
from my
snorkel.
room was a man
Scuba, you
named
go
PH.
deep?
He was
Yeah.
one of the people
Yeah.
inside the submersible. And sadly, as I'm recording this video, I have just learned that
He has
they
died.
have passed away. If I know the way to go, we got to go this way, right? And
The Titanic
do we go
music
out
just
or do
starts
we go this
playing.
way?
The guy, he opens up a door and you just see like the submarine that starts like sparks flying off of it. The guy's going, "Oh no! Oh god!"
And then it
Little
turns
shower
into a
here.
CGI version of the grand staircase on the
Toilet.
Titanic. The same way James Cameron transitioned like all the
That's just
fucking
one. There's a bunch.
rubble into
So
this
we got
beautiful glistening staircase.
So
Leonardo
here at
DiCaprio is just
OceanGate
waiting up at the top.
Expedition, we have a few
There's
meetings in here,
there's
and
the
then
behind the
also a
submarine.
bigger
There's just a
meeting
big
room.
TV
But
screen
what's really
flashing the
special
words
is this
"critical
right here. Check it
failure."
out.
Yeah.
So a guy
The guy
named
throwing
PH
blankets
actually
over
took
it. Oh,
this photo
look.
of the
And then it's
Titanic.
just Stockton
So, you know, the
Rush
first half of the
holding
ship
a fake wheel the
second
same
half over
way
here. This is
Captain
all the
Smith
debris.
did it.
And
I mean,
it's
Captain
just-
Smith was
it's just
very
ridiculous
responsible
looking.
for this, and James Cameron
Crazy.
like
It's a lot
didn't really
bigger
blame
than
him
I
in
thought. I
the
thought,
in the
you know,
movie.
it's all
I'm sure he had a
fine,
reason not
but
to, but
It's really far apart.
Well, yeah.
So I guess
it was the
for
guy that
reference,
created
this
it, the
little dot right
unsinkable
here
boat.
would be
The
somewhat-
thing
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
the
understand
Spruce
about the
Goose
Titanic.
of fucking boats.
Maybe I'm a little late to this argument. Maybe it's a little late to have a hot take about the Titanic, but you know, why only 20 lifeboats? You know what I mean?
It only had
The
20?
hubris of only having 20 life. That's why they all died.
Because all the Irish don't need lifeboats. They're just gonna fucking die.
I mean, what about all the fucking rich people that died?
They get the 20 lifeboats. Those are big lifeboats.
Some of them didn't. And by the way, they didn't even fit that many people in them because there were so few of them. Everybody was fighting over them like animals. So the people that actually got into them, they could have fit way more people, but they didn't go back because they knew that they would get flooded and people would try to. So a lot of people needlessly died because,
They were that was cold as water.
bro, I mean, the Titanic is one of the most fascinating disasters ever. Namely because like it was never supposed to be able to sink. They said it was the unsinkable ship. I mean, they really like that's how much you can lie to people. Except he did it to 5 people. They did it to a few thousand. But the lifeboat situation, I'm like 20 lifeboats, 20. Why? Like why not more?
I was a USS. You ever look at the USS Indianapolis?
No.
It was one of the boats carrying the atom bomb.
Oh.
And it was like a secret, and it got hit by a torpedo. I think I'm literally just getting this speech from Jaws because the guy, the captain in Jaws, is like gives this amazing speech about being on the USS Indianapolis.
Oh yeah,
All
I
the
remember
sailors,
that. Yeah.
Y'all got eaten by sharks.
That's
That
right.
sucks.
That's right. I've read about that.
Yeah,
That's brutal,
sucks.
but I bet it's quicker than dying than from the cold water, where you just kind of have to
Yeah,
feel
you
the
saw
needles.
that shark attack in Egypt. That video.
They just the shark
God.
kind of eats you, and it's kind of like as quick as an implosion, right? Or
I think
not,
the
maybe
guy,
not quite as
you
quick.
just go into shock so quickly. Like that guy who was getting eaten by that shark was literally just like what the fuck is
I
happening?
didn't see that video.
Oh, it's
I
crazy.
can't watch it.
My
The blood,
sister sent it to me and was like, I'm crying right now. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are
I
you
can't
watching
watch it. I don't like watching animal accidents. You know, there's something deeply primal that's off-putting to me about watching someone get
predators are
eaten by an
scary.
animal. It's just not supposed to happen. We're supposed to die
Kick
in
their asses.
submersibles going to the ocean floor.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to. It's supposed to be an evolved death. I mean, this is like. I can't believe this guy got this close. He was literally about to go on the submersible.
Oh, he didn't go?
No, because the weather conditions or some shit.
I just want to show you what happened behind the scenes with me and my girlfriend.
Scenes with me.
I want to see Stockton.
But also,
The Canadian
I kind of love the name
Coast Guard.
Stockton.
It's a little heavier.
It's a good Stockton. The Canadian Coast Guard's
OceanGate
like, please don't
Expeditions
go.
brings a flag for every mission. Again, we were on mission 3, so here I am signing the flag.
Oh
I'm not going to
my
show you everyone
God.
signing the flag.
Oh my
of
God, they
course.
have a
And then
flag
also,
for the
here's a shot of
missions,
Stockton,
bro.
the owner of Ocean.
You're
You know what's-
rubbernecking.
You know what's funny is
And
I
also
would
here's a
totally
shot of
never do
PH
this, but
signing the flag.
if somebody's like,
Both
yo,
Stockton
we're going to
and
launch you into
PH
space,
passed away
I'd
in the
totally do
Submersible
it.
just
You would?
recently on mission
100%.
5.
Yeah, that would be.
Strap me in,
But
bro.
that's safer. More people have explored outer space than the ocean floor. That's true.
Probably.
No,
yeah.
no,
Yeah,
it's-
yeah, for real.
Again, I'm an oceanographer.
But
For the last week, I've been an oceanographer. Let me
The
tell you
ship they're
something.
going to strap me into, not going to be safe. It's not going to be the top of
Oh,
the
I'm
line
not saying
ship.
it's safe to go out there either, but it's far more explored outer space
Yeah.
than the ocean. It's a complete mystery.
1976.
That's why Avi Loeb is like trying to discover the oceans because he thinks the aliens are down
Yeah.
there.
Jacques Cousteau.
What
Or
does this guy do?
His son or whatever.
Jacques who?
Jacques Cousteau,
Oh yeah,
he invented the scuba tank.
1985.
I'm
think-
thinking of somebody else.
You're looking at a piece of Titanic.
He did?
here, folks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jacques Cousteau invented the rebreather or whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah. Jacques Cousteau
That's
kicked
gonna
ass. His
wait,
grandson, I think, was a really good friend of. Guess who else loved the underwater?
Who?
Fucking Epstein's girl.
Ghislaine?
Ghislaine
Oh,
loved,
yeah,
loved the
that's
sea.
true.
Loved the sea. It was good
She
friends
did
with
a
Jacques
TED talk
Cousteau's.
about it, right?
Yeah, she loves dolphins and shit.
I mean, there he is.
Data from the sub, and it was not consistently communicating. So it worked.
It'd be really
a
funny
lot,
just
and
to
then all
send
of a
this as an
sudden it-
opening message to a guy on Grindr. Yeah. But like, we have a lot of data on subs, and they're not
lo-
openly communicating.
We've lost contact. Here, he talks about the electrical
So
failure.
inside the pod are motor controllers, a switch, some power supplies, some relays,
switch.
and so it gets data from the sub, and it was not consistently communicating.
Oh.
So it worked a lot, and then all of a sudden it stopped wanting to talk.
Oh, okay.
That
Interesting.
could be a wiring problem.
Yeah, figure it out, dipshit.
So maybe
It could also
get
be
that
a
really
problem with
figured
the-
out
one of the
before you go
switches.
down.
yeah, make sure.
Components
Apparently, this is
inside
like a
there,
common problem there.
or
Fix
wiring
it,
related to that.
retard.
I just don't understand how you can think that it's okay to commercially take people down there. I mean, everyone's an idiot. Everyone would do this.
Yeah.
Dude, the reporter David Pogue, he went and did it. I mean, and it's like, what is there that you're gonna see? They're already dead. Like, there's debris. There's fucking like, there's rust on the awning, and that's it.
Yeah.
We've all seen footage of it.
You know, it is a big fucking object down there. It'd be kind of crazy to see that.
Oh, listen, it would be
Yeah.
nuts, but here it is. Here, you want to really see it? It's
Yeah,
fucking
let me
here
see.
it is. Oh wait, that's the destroyer.
Oh,
Whatever
I'd
that
love to
is.
see a destroyer.
I don't even know what a destroyer is.
Ooh. If okay, top one wreckage. The fucking oh my god, the Musashi. Holy
I don't know
shit.
what that is. Musashi.
Musashi.
OceanGate tour. He did like a full ass. I watched like a 20-minute long thing. I just kind of put it on in the background. OceanGate. Where's like the actual channel from OceanGate? They have. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is the footage. If my computer would work, that'd be cool.
The majestic bow of Titanic
The music is so ridiculous.
blue coral
Look at that.
looking forward,
Wow. $250,000 to see that.
breaking over the
It's like just watch
Yeah,
Titanic.
you can't even see the full thing at one time because you just see what's in the flashlight.
Dude, I'd be so terrified for my life. I how the fuck could you care? How could you bring yourself to care about this
Dude,
down there? I'd be so fucking scared.
imagine like in this, you have the video, right? You get the flashlight and then you just see a ghost.
That would rock.
so
that would
scary,
make
dude.
you get your money's worth
Yeah,
at least.
just see a ghost.
You see
of, like, some-
Ida Strauss and her husband.
Yeah, she's
you-
just hugging her husband, looking at you.
If I go down there and it's not John Jacob Astor, they're waiting with a treasure chest open filled with money for me, I do not care.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
With his cool eyes.
Yeah. It needs to be John Jacob Astor. It needs to be like some rich guy that was on, first class in the Titanic handing me, a fucking like an original Matisse painting. Otherwise, I'm not in. I don't want to be a part of it.
Towards the bridge area.
I mean, this is so stupid. Like, why would you do it for this? Also, it's like, what is there to be learned from a shipwreck? Why don't we just explore the bottom of the ocean because it's worth exploring? Because it's like there's actually things down there that we need to explore.
Yeah.
I mean, and it like this is JB Buno, by the way, from WFLA. This is part of the new interactive news cycle that they're doing, where like News Nation, where they're just kind of getting people to do live streams for hours and hours, and they'll get like hundreds of thousands of people tuning in at one time, which is like probably the same thing as like actual news channels. Look at this. This is a 3-hour stream. He's done 10-hour streams. That's JB to the left. And this is his and this guy, Mark Martin, he's pretty good, but they've done this for hours.
That's
and
crazy.
days, like 15 hours a day. He would start the stream at like 6 a.m. It wouldn't end till the very end of the night. I mean, if they put any of this effort towards stories that actually affected people, it would be so crazy what they could get done. But instead we're all kind of just gawking at the horror and the misery and the what could happen. I really, I don't know. I guess he does even talk about it himself. He's like, why are we doing this story? I'll tell you why. Because and I'm like, JB, like nobody asked you.
Yeah,
like
JB.
Nobody wants you to justify yourself. There's a bunch of middle-aged women that are tuning into this that just they don't need a justification. They're into it.
I love this old guy who looks like he should be at the bathroom at Buc-ee's, like vaping. While
that guy looks like Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad.
Real quick, I'm gonna autism info dump on you real quick.
Okay.
The Musashi. So in World War II, the Japanese Navy made 2 giant battleships. One of them was called, I think, the Yamamoto, and the other one was called the Musashi. The Musashi was only 20 feet shorter than the Titanic. They didn't find its wreckage till 2015.
When did that shipwreck happen?
Fucking World War II.
How could you not find the footage or the shipwreck? Because don't you know where?
They don't have many pictures of it, but look how fucking big it was, dude.
Dude,
huge.
How could you not find it?
Huge. It was 20 feet shorter than the Titanic. Look at the tower on that fucking thing.
Christ.
Japanese are nuts.
What
dude.
caused it to shipwreck?
We torpedoed the fuck out of it. That's the Yamato and Musashi. They're the 2. I think these are the 2 biggest battleships ever made.
Oh, it's a battleship.
Yeah,
okay,
they're huge, and there was like an aircraft carrier. Look at all these Japanese guys. Look how handsome they are.
Well, how many perished?
1,000 Japanese sailors. So a lot of guys. I mean,
but
not as much as the Titanic.
But they were
Titanic for sure.
They were in the military, right?
Yeah, they're in the military. It's like a military ship, but like still, it's like
no, it's still wild. Any shipwreck is still crazy. I just
huge.
With this one, he's like, I'll tell you why we're doing the stories because this is a maritime city. This is Florida, and there's a lot of people that live close to the oceans here. And I'm like,
they like the sea. And how deep was the Titanic? Is it like 3,500 feet or something?
That's a good question.
Yeah, this bad boy's 3,000 feet under the water.
Well, I mean, here's the thing I don't understand. If the ocean floor isn't the ocean floor, shouldn't it all be the same amount of feet? I mean, I know I'm a dumbass here.
No, it's gonna vary, brother.
Why?
Because it's like
why is the Titanic at a maybe like James Cameron went deeper than the footage of than the shipwreck of the Titanic. So I'm like, doesn't it sink to the ocean? I mean, like, I know I sound incredibly stupid right now, but like I really
Titanic's way deeper than the Musashi. Okay, so this is what the ocean floor looks like. See, you got a little like graph.
Interesting. Now, why did it land there? Oh, it's like a mountain.
Floating. Yeah, it's like a mountain range under the sea.
That's fucking crazy.
You didn't know this?
That's fucking crazy. No, I didn't. I did know that because I'm an oceanographer, but I didn't. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, that's what the ocean looks like.
So we truly don't know what's down there.
Oh, it's huge.
We truly don't know what's down there. I just want to like see like the bottom of the ocean. Ocean floor. Is there footage of it? Oh my God, the Simpson writer went on the Titanic sub? Are you joking me?
Who?
What?
Experience, was it smooth, pardon the phrase, was it smooth sailing? or were there issues?
Oh God.
It was smooth sailing to the point where
I don't think
I
we're allowed
got
to
on
air
the
this.
submarine.
I just can't believe that. I can't believe that the writer for The Simpsons. Dude, this is the ocean floor from National Geographic. I hope they let us play this.
Successful, she will be the first woman to walk the seafloor.
Oh,
That's
wow.
what I would do. I'd be in that thing.
Then it get pitch black.
Fucking the only person to walk the seafloor.
Dropping.
But also, it's like, what's the seafloor? There's so many different compartments of the floor. It just keeps going.
Yeah, the Mariana Trench is like.
They're like stairs. The ocean floor.
How deep is the fucking? Okay, I can't get
That's
a real.
what I'm trying to figure out here.
Where's the goddamn Titanic? Oh God, Titanic wreckage is at 12,500 feet. The
Look at that.
Musashi's only 3,500 feet down.
It's a fucking extraterrestrial fish.
That's what I would be if I was a fish. I'd be that.
Oh, I'd be that one.
You'd be that prickly pear.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Fucking
Hold on.
ward off my enemies.
What is the goddamn Mariana Trench?
Chris doesn't even know what species this thing is.
This is the only place I've really seen it this kind. I've seen some
Bro,
of
what the fuck?
Under his.
Yeah, they constantly find like new. Every time they go down there, they're like, "Oh, there's a new squid."
Yeah. This time the squid goes by the
Oh
name
my
of
God,
Winston
the bottom of the
Churchill.
Mariana Trench. Wait, James Cameron went 35,000
Yeah.
feet under the ocean?
He went deeper than I think any. I don't know. He went really fucking deep.
Dude, what?
James Cameron rocks.
35,000 feet? That's like the cruising altitude of a fucking airplane.
I didn't ever like James Cameron this much.
What?
But I'm telling you, like,
I didn't know James Cameron was so fucking badass,
it's
dude.
pretty crazy what he did.
Did he go
with
down there in person or was like a robot?
I mean, I guess we would find out. Like, this is from 11 years ago on CNN. James Cameron. So this must be it.
Let's see how kick-ass his submarine is.
To the Mariana Trench's deepest point, Challenger Deep.
This is what you just read about?
Deep. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Challenger Deep.
This, in Cameron's eyes,
Look at how sick his submarine is, dude.
his submersible, Deep Sea Challenger.
I think he designed
took
it.
a team of scientists and the National Geographic Society more than 7 years to make a sub able to withstand pressures at the trench's
Fuck
depth.
yeah,
Oh my
dude.
God, that's crazy.
I would go in that submarine.
You would?
So it does stay vertical.
Look at it. It looks like
couldn't pay me.
dude, he made Boba Fett's ship, but it goes underwater.
Want to tell you a little bit
I
more
don't know
about
though.
Deep
If
Sea
somebody,
Challenger
hey, for
as
the right
it's
price,
docked,
maybe I would.
resting and being worked
James
on
Cameron
here.
goes,
It weighs 12 tons.
Fuck yeah.
And even though it's on its side, it's actually 24 feet high. It's powered by these specially created lithium batteries, and its body is made up of a syntactic foam that was developed by Cameron and his team of scientists. And that color that you see there, Cameron calls
So
that
not,
Kawasaki green.
so not carbon fiber.
hell yeah, brother.
It's
He
a
calls it
John's
Kawasaki
the new
green?
biggest James Cameron fan on the planet now.
That is not, he doesn't call it Kawasaki green. That's Kawasaki green. That's what
Oh, okay, never
Kawasaki
mind, I take
paints
it
their
back.
motorcycles with.
It is a tight fit.
Well, that was just a reporter saying that's what he calls it.
Yeah.
He might not. He might have attributed it to the
Yeah.
music.
Not yet.
James Cameron
Cameron
kicked. Look
expects time
how
will
sick
pass
the inside of
as
his
it captures
fucking.
3D
Oh, his
images
is way
and
smaller,
hopefully
I
sea
think,
life
huh?
From the trench's floor.
Yeah, it needs to fit more
as he has
technology
already
in it.
done on
Oh
previous
yeah,
test dives.
he's not breaking the rules on purpose like Stockton.
Or I can
Look, this
suck
has got a
onto an
shovel.
animal and pick him up and drop him into a bio box.
If something goes wrong, there is a fail-safe system, a series of weights
Nice,
released with the
good.
flip of a switch.
Ballast, I think
Brings
they
little
call it.
comfort to Cameron's mother, who worries.
I love my family, my kids. There's
There was a
nothing
picture
I
I
love
took
more.
from this
But I also have
OceanGate.
to do this. I also have to go look. It's like Jimmy Stewart says in How the West Was Won. Sometimes you just got to go see the critter.
The Challenger's frontier awaits. Jason Carroll, CNN, on board the Mermaid Sapphire in the Solomon Sea.
Here we go. I read this thing on the
A conquest to report tonight, the last frontier on Earth,
Let's
the
go,
bottom
Cameron.
of
Hold
the
on,
world,
let's just
nearly
see this for a
7
second.
miles straight
Is that Martha
down to
Stewart?
the
Who
bottom
is
of
that?
the
No,
ocean.
it's
5 people have died trying
she
to
sucks.
get there. One
It's Diane
expedition
Sawyer.
made it back, but
She's
saw
extremely
nothing.
exploitative
Today, the
interviewer.
filmmaker James Cameron, who's given us so many oceanic worlds in movies, set out in a body-binding capsule alone.
I mean, it's, you know.
He did
He's
it.
alone.
What did he see? Here's ABC's
Damn,
Dan
nobody else went with
Harris.
him?
Nah, he's badass.
James Cameron, the
Holy
director
shit.
of Titanic.
Whoa, dude.
And
It's crazy.
I didn't know how much he knew.
Now starring in a real-life action adventure.
You guys made fun of him on Hate Watch, right?
No. No, we were like, wow, this guy knows his shit.
Oh, okay.
Years.
Above all, have fun.
Then he rode that submarine into
He rode
the
that
inky
bitch.
black
I was expecting to be like, and then he rode that bitch down to the bottom of the ocean.
Bro, this is
in the deep recesses,
what the fuck
but
is
nobody
that?
knew
That's a
Cameron.
fucking alien.
This is the James Cameron fish. This
Bro,
is the
that's
James
an
Cameron
alien
fish
if
too.
I've ever seen one.
Have to go.
In a 2.5-hour trip, he went deeper than the last glimmers of sunlight, deeper than the Titanic's final
Fuck
resting
yeah.
place.
What?
That's only halfway there. Deeper than Mount Everest.
Hell yeah.
What?
Down, nearly 7 miles down to the bottom.
7
This will
miles.
give you a graphic sense of how much pressure Cameron's sub was under down there. Imagine having the weight
Like,
of
I'm
3
sorry.
SUVs on your thumb. Now imagine having that much weight on every inch of your body.
It was so
Hell yeah.
heavy
Look at that
the
fucking guy
submarine
go.
actually shrank while he was down there. And this is what Cameron
This-
saw.
this is
a
stunning to me.
maritime moonscape. He thought he'd find life, but there was barely any. He was supposed to spend 6 hours collecting video and biological samples, but after 3 hours, a serious problem, an oil leak.
Uh-oh.
He resurfaced, making the whole trip in only 70 minutes.
Welcome back, mate. Welcome back.
What, dude? He went down there?
I don't
Hold
think
on,
he has
what?
to repressurize or anything.
No. I didn't. I have to go back. What? Hold on. First of all, I was stuck on the term maritime moonscape. What a beautiful
That's the
name.
title of Mac DeMarco's next album.
After 3 hours, a serious
Father John
problem,
Misty
an
took
oil
it first.
Misty.
He resurfaced, making the whole trip in only 70 minutes.
Bro. Wait, so he had an oil leak in his thing?
Yeah, and his sub was
So
leaking.
how did he?
His sub was under too much pressure and it was leaking.
So then what happened? He never went back again?
I don't know.
Man, this is a long way down.
And he says this is just the beginning. He is going back. Dan Harris, ABC.
What a
Bro,
badass dude.
whoa. I mean, I had no idea. I don't think anyone really knew this about James Cameron. People would just kind of like, I saw him in Entourage do a little cameo. Yeah, the number one comment on here, after everything that's happened in the last couple days, you realize how badass this is. Everyone's like, why didn't Stockton Rush ask this man for his advice? I'm like, well, clearly the guy is very into himself and didn't think that, safety precautions were necessary. I mean, the CBS thing that the guy did sounds like we're just speaking ill of somebody, but like this is Stockton Rush. Just so like people that think that I'm crazy, somebody put the timestamps on like when he said the fucked up shit, but he said some shit that was like this. I mean, this CBS
catastrophic implosion.
Oh no.
The unthinkable.
No, honey, I'm talking about the original story, the original CBS Stockton. Come on. What?
I'm looking up famous shipwrecks. See how long the Edmund
Oh, here it
Fitzgerald
is.
was.
Here it is. This is the one. You saw this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you've heard the story of the Titanic.
Yes. There's somebody commented on this saying red flag number 1, red flag number 2, red flag number 3.
In a one-of-a-kind carbon fiber
Of course, there's been a million comments since then. Great.
$250,000 per person. Who are the typical clientele for these missions?
My grandparents, my grandparents' grandparents.
Yeah.
Which we refer to as Titaniacs.
Oh my God.
Titaniacs, right.
I hate this interviewer.
And we have people who don't.
How could you appeal to like a billionaire clientele with some name as degrading as Titaniac?
You're a Titaniac.
And this summer, Rush
Like,
invited us.
somebody
to come
calls me that, you think I'm
We
gonna
departed
fucking get
from
on
St.
the
John's,
submarine? I'm gonna be
Newfoundland, Canada, the easternmost
make me question everything I was
America.
thinking
Mm-hmm.
of doing
About
if somebody
400
called me that.
miles from the Titanic.
That's such a cool boat. Oh God.
Look at this
Aboard a chartered
eager pup
oil rig servicing
to risk his
Whoa.
life for
During our
CBS.
2-day journey into the North Atlantic, we got to know our fellow
I don't even want to be on that thing. I don't even want to be on that.
I would be on that. That's pretty cool. It's
I
like
would
it looks
be
like an
on that.
icebreaker. That thing kicks ass.
It is a nice den they have for
Yeah.
movie watching
That
and
big,
such.
the big, being on a big ass boat kicks ass.
Dude,
You ever been on a cruise?
No,
Oh, come on.
never. That scares me too, dude. You hear about
Cruises
the
are
you hear
fucked
about
up.
the Carnival fucking crash?
Have you-
That
have you-
shit was crazy. And then the Italian captain of that just like left. It was wild.
Yeah, you go down with the ship,
You're
bud.
supposed to go down with the ship, but
Yeah.
no. But this guy, it was
took a helicopter
It was
out.
his fault, and he escaped, and all these people died. It was actually really funny. It was. You don't remember this? This was like in 2015.
I do remember
I'll
this.
never forget this, dude. This was. Oh, this woman is insane. Hold
I
on.
remember that. Real quick, I need to whiz really bad.
Okay,
I'll be
okay,
right
go.
back.
I'm gonna find that. Dude, so he wrote something so cryptic. This OceanGate guy, he wrote this thing like.
Sorry, I can't say that out loud.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, it is kind of funny that they named it OceanGate.
Yeah, OceanGate's like the and then the Ghislaine Maxwell connection.
Right.
Hmm.
And he, clearly was on a suicide mission, but he said, assisting OceanGate on this its first Titanic expedition in 2021, our experts, David Concannon and the legendary... Oh, this is what he wrote about himself. Once upon a time, a little boy dreamt of being an astronaut. Then Captain Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. And from there, Han Solo, commanding the Millennium Falcon. That same boy took apart a stuffed bear to study the mechanism that made the animal talk. When this boy became a young man, he built his own fiberglass plane from a 600-page manual and a kit, starting in his mother's garage. Yeah, his mother's garage was like Atlantis. I mean, decades later, he envisioned a new kind of crude 5-person submersible in a unique cylinder shape, utilizing carbon fiber, a material not yet used for deep ocean exploration.
Probably
so
a good reason.
Yeah, why do it? What do you think? You're the guy that's going to figure it out?
Why don't they make all the submarines out of steel, like the real ones?
Right. What does the military got wrong that you've got figured out?
Make them out of really hard stuff that, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to float, you know?
No, but this guy was like, I want to be an inventor. I'm a big inventor. He put all these patents out for like carbon fiber, I don't know, like tin cans or whatever it is that he took everybody on. But he says, on our last night, I walk on catwalk around the bridge alone. A wind picks up. Looking out over the endless sea, I can't help but wonder what it must have felt like to be tossed from the safety of my vessel into the wild water beneath me. In April, with no warm current, among ice floats in the pitch black night, I reach for the slim white railing, feeling a sudden surge of vertigo. It is difficult to reconcile the tragedy that took place here more than a century ago with the science and technology laboratory the site has become. There is something profound about this dance of exploration and innovation. He really looked at himself as an innovator. Like, he really thought of himself as like an inventor. For a week, we were firmly, if not ironically, within its embrace. Below us, the Titanic, whose feats of engineering represented the best minds of its time. What fuels this enduring intrigue? The Titanic embodies all that captivates our imaginations. This is him justifying his weird obsession with the Titanic. Tragedy and history, legend and lore, compelling heroes and villains, the intersection of greed and triumph, ingenuity across generations, the story of the unsinkable ship, the fastest, strongest of its kind, and that of Stockton's Titan, the first submersible of its kind, each speak to our... Oh my God, this is the most narcissistic thing I've ever read in my life. The story of the unsinkable ship, the fastest, strongest of its kind, and that of Stockton's Titan, the first submersible of its kind, each speak to our human traits of quest, persistence, and grit. Except they both sank, so...
But every submersible is like custom made, so each one is its own, the first of its kind.
Wait, that's such a good point. Yeah, literally. There's like
all custom built.
Every single one is a pimp my submarine. It's not like
not
it's
even
not
that. They take cars that. Never mind. I was just getting autistic. The fucking they're built from the ground up, and they should have taken that Norwegian fucking serial killer submarine down there.
What Norwegian serial killer? And why
that?
He has a submarine?
Yeah.
What?
He had a submarine. His was made out of steel. His looked cool.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, he says, in the moment, we never truly know the meaning of a seismic event. From the limited perspective of a lifespan, what appears to be a failure may become, generations later, the inspiration for a transformational success. I can see one example of this on the deck beneath me. Titan, resting on the surface above the short-lived triumph of a different era, which we can't seem to forget. Well, buddy, that's just so prophetic of your. I mean, wow. He's basically justifying that if he were to die this way, that it's going to be good because, other people can... Something will be taken from... I mean, yeah, something will be taken, which is like, don't take commercially people down there to rubberneck. Like, that would be what the big takeaway is. I don't know how that's an innovation, because the carbon fiber that you thought was going to, like, blow everyone's mind is not doing that.
It imploded everyone's mind at the end of the day, am I right?
Yeah, very... absolutely.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of those guys who are like, I'm going to die doing what I love. If you tell them before they do what they love that day, they're going to die doing it. They'd probably be like, I'm not going to do it today.
I love something else now.
I love something else. Let's see. How, like, you ever who's the guy?
At least he's not a coward.
Yuri Gagarin.
Guy.
The first man in space.
Who? Oh, no. I thought the first man in space was... I don't know.
He was the first human to journey in outer space. He was a Soviet astronaut. But let's see. He died re-entering the atmosphere. The capsule he was in was rushed.
Oh, they're in capsules too, huh? Yeah.
It was rushed, and he knew it was rushed. I think this is in golly, I didn't. By the way, I've done so much. It was 1968 when he died. The capsule was rushed. He knew it was rushed. And he knew it was some bullshit Soviet bullshit. And apparently on the way in, he was on the radio.
Some bullshit Soviet bullshit.
He was on the radio cursing the people who built the because he knew it was falling apart around him, and he was like cursing the people that did it.
But he knew.
He knew that this capsule was going to explode. But while he was doing it, he was he was forced to. He was a Soviet astronaut. He had to.
Jesus.
He didn't have a choice.
Jesus.
He had to get in that thing. It's actually really sad.
That's really fucked up.
It's really fucking sad. Like somebody's going in that capsule,
Yeah.
and if it wasn't him, it'd be another guy. And he was like, "I'm gonna go."
Yeah, that's I don't know why he would. I would never. Listen, you couldn't pay me enough money to get into any sort of capsule. I don't want to be in a capsule. I mean, this is crazy shit. These people getting in their fucking like toy car submarine, going to the bottom of the ocean floor for what? And it's like, I could sit here and talk about things that actually matter, but why? This just shows you nothing matters. I mean, this is why. Nothing matters.
Well, why climb Everest? Because it's there. So, but Everest seems a lot safer than doing this. Climbing Everest apparently is like super easy now. They've like got it down to a science.
Well, somebody just recently died, I think, going on there. This guy that like climbs Mount Everest all the time. It's like those guys that go to like, they go to Hawaii like 18 times, a year, or like that's their vacation spot, or like they find a vacation spot. It's like the people that climb Everest over and over and over again. I'm like, you did it once. Like, why do you got to keep doing it?
One more thing real quick.
Yeah.
Yuri Gagarin had an open casket funeral.
I don't understand.
A man who re-entered, he burnt up in the atmosphere, had an open casket funeral.
Why?
Because they were like, we have to, the cosmonaut crashed into Earth crying in rage. And they were like, well, you're going to see. Do you want to see the picture?
No.
Come on.
No,
it's black and white. It's black and white.
Literally can't. I will have nightmares. I can't.
It looks like a
it.
big poo-poo.
I can't.
He looks like a big poo-poo being viewed by Soviet generals who look really sad.
I don't want to look at anything like that. That's horrific, dude. I was watching The Thing yesterday. That was
what'd
terrifying.
you think of that movie? Have you ever seen it before?
I was really into it, dude. No, Ben showed it to us at his birthday.
But have you seen it before that?
No, never.
It's my favorite horror film.
Really? I didn't even
so
really
pissed I wasn't
consider
there.
it horror. Like, I was like, this is so cool. Like, I can't believe this is horror.
Oh, it's a great science
fiction.
fiction.
Dude, the lighting in that was beautiful. It was so beautifully shot and so beautifully lit. Like,
yeah, it's fucking John Carpenter.
Yeah, it was such
ass.
for lack of a better word, it was a vibe.
He does all of his soundtracks.
The soundtrack, he tours. Morricone did Ennio Morricone did the soundtrack for that.
The Thing?
Uh-huh.
I thought, oh my God.
It was amazing. Because I noticed how incredible the build-up and the tension of the music was, and it was perfectly done.
It's based off of At the Mountains of Madness, an H.P. Lovecraft story, loosely based off of it. And then my favorite thing about The Thing is it has one of the best movie posters of all time.
Does it? I don't even know what it is.
Look up The Thing movie, put it up on the screen. Look up The Thing movie poster, and it basically, the guy who painted the poster had no idea what the movie was about when he painted it, and that's that.
Oh yes. I said that the art, the even like I didn't know what the poster looked like, but I loved the font throughout the whole thing that they used. It was really visually stunning. I mean, I just thought it was like and the effects were really good.
The dog being split in half is one of the scariest things.
I gotta say, I turned away during all those moments of all the blood and the gush and
really scary.
But I love that it was a UFO movie. Like I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, when they find the UFO, it's fucking terrifying.
It's so crazy.
Did you see the readout where it's like humanity destroyed 3 hours after exposure, like to the fucking thing?
I don't think I saw that part.
Oh, there's this website. It's a fantastic. I forget what it's called, but it's a British website. But they have the coolest movie merch from like the 80s.
Yeah, dude.
They're the best, and one of the T-shirts is just that readout, and it kicks ass.
I bet it has like a Repo Man one or like.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, the 80s were, it was a very liminal movie. It was a very liminal movie. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, literally every single scene, they're in such a. It's every single scene is really well lit. Like the lighting is always very, very purposeful and calculated. You can tell in every single scene, and then just like the use of just like these like old hallways and corridors, and I don't know. It was.
I mean, how great is Kurt Russell?
Oh,
Fantastic.
I love Kurt Russell, dude.
He's the man.
I really love, and he has the only good Nepo baby as far as I'm concerned.
Wyatt? Wyatt's fantastic.
There are a few good Nepo babies, but Wyatt is a talent.
Wyatt's a great actor.
And Lodge 49 that he was. Did you see Lodge 49? Yeah, wasn't it fucking awesome?
Fucking great.
It was so good, dude. That should have gotten way more seasons, and he was so good in that.
Kurt Russell's hat in The Thing is a hat I've always wanted. It was a sombrero.
He looked amazing, and that one scene where he gets like. His acting is like just superb. Like he gets so emotional at one point.
Well, that's the funny thing is Kurt Russell never really did like Oscar movies.
I don't know.
But he was such a good actor. Let me see. Was he ever nominated for an Oscar?
I don't know.
I mean, Hateful Eight. But that doesn't really.
Ben's whole theory was that the Thing was Hateful Eight was inspired by the Thing.
I mean,
because of the snow and
maybe
he was very specific about it. I mean, there's different
maybe
things
partially,
here.
But The Thing is a very specific. You would actually like it. Yeah, Oscar recognition has eluded Russell.
They have. They just never. He was never.
He never. But he doesn't need it. He's one of my favorite actors of all time, and
he's so cool.
Fucking you would love that H.P. Lovecraft story. It's really, really great. It's about it's called The Mountains of Madness. It's about an Antarctic expedition in the early turn of the century, and they find a mountain that they find what they think is a mountain range, but in reality, it's geometric structure that's been created by extraterrestrials.
Oh shit!
It's a giant pyramid. That's the size of a mountain, and they go inside of it and they find all these alien carcasses. And it was written in like 1920.
Do we know what's inside the actual pyramids?
Yeah, but they're still kind of discovering chambers. What's really interesting about oh my god, I'm gonna info dub so hard on you.
Let's do it, yeah.
What's really interesting is like the most lavish. I feel like some of the most lavish Egyptian graves weren't for pharaohs, but they're for high-ranking merchants.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a point, and that's why they think there was a switch from. They've kind of figured out the reason the Egyptians fell was there was at one point a switch from the high-ranking royal class to the high-ranking merchant class. You had merchants that had more lavish burial sites and more wealth.
That's right. That's what I was reading about recently, actually. What was I watching? Did you put that on recently?
Maybe.
I don't know, but I feel like I was watching somebody say that exact fact.
The most beautiful thing in those, and I saw this video, I forget, it was probably the one I was watching with you, but they have that one on one of the crypts. They have a man was painting it, and he got paint on his hand, and he wiped it on the wall. And there's just this handprint on the wall. And
like in the Titanic.
I thought that was so beautiful.
Remember her handprint when they're having sex?
Oh yeah,
in the car, and it just the.
I've always wanted to see cave paintings where they do when they blow the paint on their hand, and then I want to put my hand there and feel like a Neolithic man.
I would go to a cave. You can get out of a cave.
There's cave paintings near us.
What the fuck are in San Diego? Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, you want to hear the scariest? Oh, there's a cave in Kenya where they source the Ebola virus from. It's one of the deadliest places on Earth. I think Ebola came from it, and then another disease.
Apparently, mosquitoes have killed more people than anything. Is that true?
Yeah, malaria sucks. I had a friend who got malaria, and it was horrific. It was like the worst thing he's ever experienced. And you know what's funny is I got really sick with the hand, foot, and mouth thing, and I'm like, man, if malaria, I can't get sick like that. It's weird being injured, like having a broken arm. Mm-hmm. It's weird being injured by something that's inside you can't get out, and it's making your body react away. Like my you saw my hands. Mm-hmm. My hands were peeling off.
It looked like you had been sunburned or something.
But I met a guy who had hand, foot, and mouth that was all over his skull. And I was like, dude, fuck.
Wait, on his skull?
Yeah. His scalp? His scalp was peeling off.
Oh, I thought you meant like on his bones in his head. I was
no,
like, oh my God.
Yeah, my friend who had malaria, so apparently he was in Tanzania is crazy for malaria. Kenya kind of eliminated it in the cities, but he was in Tanzania, and he had the average, like they count the viruses per like blood unit because it's a virus or a parasite, actually. Malaria's a parasite, I believe. And they do like parasite count for like blood unit, and the average malaria parasite count was like 8. But he went to the doctor once, and the doctor was like, oh, you just have a stomach problem, just go home.
Yeah.
And then he waited a few days, started hallucinating heavily that there were 3 versions of himself. And he would hallucinate that he would send those 3 versions of himself off to go do things like brush his teeth and use the restroom, and then he'd wake up like covered in his shit. Like
Jesus Christ.
So he had to call his girlfriend to fly from England to drag him to a doctor in Tanzania. And by the time he got there, his like malaria blood count was like 300, 400, and the doctor's like, "We have no idea how you're alive right now. We need to give you a like instant blood transfusion."
Did he live?
Yeah, it's really good. His name was Richard. He was an English South African. So you get
That's so
you get the
scary.
Boer South Africans where they talk like this, and they're like, "I'm from South Africa," and then you get the English ones who just sound English.
When you went to Africa, you had to get like a bunch of shots and stuff, right?
I got yellow fever and like
You got yellow fever?
it shot.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of countries used to have to show your yellow fever vaccine when you entered, but
Yeah, that's
I got yellow fever. I got fucking like all the hepatitises. I got fucking, but you can only, you just take pills against malaria. But the problem with malaria pills is they actually damage your body. For if you take them long term, they do more damage to your body than malaria.
And
does.
you were going, to be clear, like in a very rural part of Africa, right? That
At one point,
you needed
yeah.
this because you
At
don't.
one point, but I also had to take anti-malarials on Southeast Asia, but I just stopped after a while.
So you don't have to do this if you're like in the city areas, right? Like that would be kind of like you're not. People in Lagos aren't like. You know,
if you're in a bad neighborhood in Lagos, because Lagos is
I've
by
been really
the
curious
sea.
about Lagos. I kind of want to see it.
Nigeria is an insanely interesting country.
The music that comes out of there is so fucking
Afrobeat.
cool. Yeah, I love
Fela
it.
Kuti.
I fucking love it. Yeah.
His son plays saxophone in Pasadena, but he had like
I
30
love him.
sons.
Oh, really?
But-
Yeah, he did. He
was
probably had a
banging.
lot.
But Nigeria is essentially an ungovernable country. It's really interesting.
So how does Lagos operate? It's one of the biggest cities in the world, and people you don't even really hear about it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's oh my god, I can get dude. Nigeria is one of the
Did you
most.
go? Did you
no,
see it? Oh.
The next place I want to go is Nigeria because Nigeria is probably the most interesting study on the failures of capitalism. Like it is.
interesting.
Oh my god, the Delta region of Nigeria is one of the most polluted. Like at life expectancy, there's like 40.
Jesus Christ.
People die. People get cancer because of the oil refineries constantly leaking. It's one of the most richest oil producing nations in the
Wow.
world. Everyone there lives off of like $1 a day. Everyone's sick. If you look like, there's a video I found of a guy because of a
This
flaring.
is Lagos you're talking about, right?
This is south of Lagos, maybe like 4 hours.
Okay.
There's like they do oil, you see those big flames coming out of oil refineries. That's called flaring. It's they're lighting off any gas they can't contain.
Right.
So they flare so often there that it creates acid rain because the sky's just full of chemicals.
Mhm.
And like you could take like corrugated steel that's been like there's a guy I saw a video where he's like this corrugated steel shack is only a year old and he takes the corrugated steel and he can just rip it with his bare hands because it's constantly just getting hit with acid rain. Everybody's got cancer. And it's just nuts.
Yeah, no, that's maybe I don't want to go, actually. Maybe I don't.
Lagos is a
Maybe I-
very dangerous place. I would not go to Lagos.
Well, they have parts of it that are nice, right?
You gotta understand
there's no
when you go
tourism.
You gotta understand when you go to places like that, like Lagos. Like it's crazy. It's like, it's one of the you're gonna like. It's like there'll be safe places where rich people go in those countries, but like you gotta like get in like a secure vehicle to like move around.
Yeah.
You know, like you're always at risk. If you try to go to a market if you try to step below that 1% strati, you're going to be like at risk of being mugged or like,
Yeah, I mean,
very
it's
dangerous, but you can't trust the police.
super populated place too. I
Yeah.
mean, there's people This looks beautiful, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure
This
you'd be
is- this
fine,
looks-
but like,
this looks cool as fuck.
yeah, that was how it was in Nairobi when I was in Nairobi.
This is
It
all
was like,
aerial views, bro. I want.
whenever you go out, you got to go out with like 5 people. You can't go out with solo, especially as a woman. But I heard Uganda is actually really female solo traveler friendly. I heard Uganda's incredibly safe.
Who's this fucking Drubinski wannabe? I wonder if Drubinski's been to Lagos.
Yeah, I wouldn't walk around here alone.
Here? This
Yeah.
is just like a little bizarre, though.
Yeah, I
oh,
wouldn't walk there.
there, no,
No.
fam. No.
I mean, your pickpockets are they're so slick, dude. They'll take a watch off your wrist.
So it goes behind you.
I'm sure somebody's been to Lagos, so probably call me a pussy, but like, you know.
I mean, I just figured there'd be parts of it that are like super,
Yeah, there are. There's always going to be where the
for
rich
people to go.
where
Yeah.
the rich people go. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're really not
Westerners.
experiencing the city at all because this is the
Well, it's
city.
like,
I mean, this is what it actually is.
The weird thing is like there's when you go to places like that, you'll see like grinding poverty. I went to several of this like quote unquote slums in Nairobi.
Yeah.
And like it was incredibly grinding poverty. but it's not the same way it is in the United States, where it's like you go to Skid Row and there's like mentally ill people shitting in their hands and like throwing it. There's like happy families living there.
Oh, like in poverty.
Yeah, there's there's like people living in grinding poverty, the worst poverty I've ever seen, but they're like life continues and they're really nice to you and they're still like, doing their thing.
And they're not tweaking.
No, they're not tweaking. I mean, there are tweakers. They're for sure. They're guys who, well, the weird thing is the drugs aren't going to be like meth. It's going to be like kids huffing glue.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the glue, huffing glue and paint was a big thing when I was in Kenya. You just see kids with like a bag of glue just huffing it and then eating a mango. It's really sad.
I think something they do too, and I think this is in Africa. It was an episode of Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia that he did on like the quaalude, smoking the African quaalude, South African quaalude or something.
Oh.
And it's like you smoke it out of glass, and the high only lasts for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, you get really
they just
shitty
do it
drugs.
over and over and over and over. Yeah, and it's like awful for you.
Yeah.
And the guy that's making it is gonna die from the fumes that he's ingesting as he's making it, and he's just like a poor guy in Africa, like obviously not on the drug himself, but is making it and is like slowly dying making the drug. It's just it's fucking it's so brutal.
When I was in Kenya, I met this guy Paul who was like he was hired. He was like a contractor hired to basically break gravel and then fill the mud because they don't have like paved. This house I was at didn't have a paved driveway. It was just a mud road, and then you just put gravel in the mud, so it kind of makes like a little like cobblestone effect. And he was just doing that all day. He was breaking gravel and then like putting mud. And I would go out and like smoke cigarettes with him. And he said like he like at his previous job was he would sort through trash.
Okay.
And it's very funny when you go to these like ex-British colonial countries. Like there's always like in South Africa, you had the Boer, and then you have the English South Africans. You had the Boer, and then you had like the South Africans, the blacks. And it's like in Kenya now, it's like you had the English Kenyans, then you have the Indians, and then you have the black Kenyans. And it's like a lot of the people who did like upper management in those countries for like small, not government, but like businesses would be like Indians, which were another colonial super like, region of England. And like a lot of rich, wealthy Indian. Also, I met a really, oh my God. When I was on the coast in Mombasa, did you know Chinese pirates made their way all the way to West Africa or East Africa?
No.
There was I was introduced to a group of people that were the descendants of Chinese pirates.
I didn't know there were Chinese pirates.
Huge Chinese pirate ships, great big
Really?
Chinese explorers in like the 1400s.
What's a Chinese pirate like?
Their boats kicked ass. They had big giant boats. But I met the descendants of Chinese pirates living in Kenya.
What were they like?
They were like black people, but they had like the slightest Asian look to them.
Interesting.
And they were all descendants of Chinese pirates that like went on shore and like interbred with the local Africans.
Were they well liked in the community?
They were just seen as like, oh yeah, these are the like weird Filipino looking people. They're like,
were they black though, or no?
They were black. They were like very dark skinned Filipinos.
Interesting.
It was crazy.
I mean, how much time did you spend in Africa?
2 months.
That's a long ass time, dude.
Yeah. Also, you see like if you go to the old port and shit, you see like all these pools. There's a new port in Mombasa and there's an old port. You can't see the new port. This looks like Long Beach, but the old port is where all the old ships used to go, and they have all these giant pools like made out of concrete on the side of the port, and that's where they would wash slaves before putting them on ships.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was crazy.
They must be looking at our big Titanic freak show as like some sort of like, I mean,
oh yeah.
Can you imagine what people are saying about us right now? Like this country.
Kenyans are really interesting Kenyan story recently. A fucking cult leader was arrested and like for killing like 300 people in Kenya.
Jeez.
It's crazy. He was like starving them to death.
Was it like a drink the Kool-Aid mission?
Yeah. He was basically just like starving hundreds of people to death, and like they have no idea how many bodies this guy's killed.
What was this cult? Like what was this name?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it at all, but I follow BBC Africa.
It
great.
It was Unicult.
It was it goes full circle.
Yeah, it was the BPD woman from Unicult hanging out.
A BPD African man.
She's gonna go wreak havoc in Africa soon. But
you would freak out at some of the beaches. I mean, you would love not Niali. What's north of Niali? Gede.
I really want to go to Lagos.
You know what? I think honestly, I know what you're trying to vibe with. I think you're a Kenya gal.
Really?
Kenya's just a bit nice. It seems like a bit. You're going to West Africa. It's like jungle, bro. It's like jungle. It's smoggy. It's dirty.
Lagos ain't jungle. Lagos is like how many people live in Lagos?
So much oil flaring and like
Lagos is like one of the biggest. I couldn't believe how huge it was, dude. I mean, I just love the shit that comes culturally. The shit that comes out of Lagos. I just think the music and the fashion is so interesting. Like there's just cool culture that comes out of it. It's fucking. 8 million people, bro. 8 million people
Yeah, it's a
live in
shit ton of
Lagos.
people.
That's fucking crazy.
It's like the size of New York.
Is the most populous city in Nigeria as well as Africa with an estimated population of 21. Okay, wait a second. How is that
Nigeria's
possible?
the biggest country
I'm
in
sorry.
Africa.
I thought it was 8 million. It's 21 million people in the metropolitan area.
Huge amount of people. That's fucking. Honestly, when you said 8 million, I was like, that sounds low.
Yeah, that's wild, dude. It's the estimated population. Yeah, Lagos is the 4th most populous city in the world.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about it. Nobody hears about it. Literally nobody talks about it.
It's a shit heap for ExxonMobil and Shell. No, that's what it is. It's literally just everyone there's abused by gas petroleum companies.
I forgot to show you. This is the Italian guy that abandoned his boat that people died on for Carnival cruise ships, it was the Carnival. Maybe it wasn't Carnival. It was This is him. Look at the scumbag. The Costa Concordia disaster.
He kicks ass.
Yeah, there was. It was. How many people died? I think he's in prison right now though. They put you in jail if you abandon your boat. They'll put you in prison. He has to do 16 years.
Yeah, I love Italians, dude. They're old school.
It was Carnival. I wasn't wrong actually.
Yeah, it was a Carnival. I remember the
Carnival.
look, the upturned shit. At least they were by shore. You know, I could have made that swim.
Dude, I would have fucking died. I would have been dead immediately.
You would have freaked out.
That's crazy. Yeah, no,
Dude,
put him in jail.
Look at this beach. That's Kenya.
Beautiful.
Fucking
stunning waters.
Diani Beach. I never made it. It's very unsafe.
Well,
Diani Beach, I think it was like, there was like 2 years.
That's unsafe? That beautiful place?
For a minute, I think it's fine now, but for like 2 years, there was just like, you'd be hanging out in your resort, and then a bunch of Somali pirates would just come down, like kidnap you.
I could fix them.
Yeah.
I could fix the Somali pirates.
Yeah.
They ain't never met a bitch like me. I'll take them to Lagos with me.
They'll be like, oh, you're Persian. Okay, we have to let you go immediately.
Actually, that's probably why they would kill me. Or like they'd use me as collateral, thinking like I have some rich.
Well, it's
like,
Al-Shabaab.
Yeah.
They
Who?
sell you to Al-Shabaab.
What's Al-Shabaab?
It's the African, it's the East
Why does that sound so
African
familiar?
jihadi group.
Ah, okay, yeah. So I've heard about
Boko
them.
Haram's the West African one.
That's
Al-Shabaab's
right.
the East
That's
one.
right. It's been a minute.
Al-Qaeda's now in the Yemen.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Well, guys, R.I.P. to everybody that perished in the submarine. You know, we make jokes, but it's very sad. It is very sad and very stupid. And that guy really sucks ass for killing those people.
Yeah, he
and
blows.
yeah, the ego. We should just regulate the egos of billionaires' children's as like part of like that should just be part of a government program. Is like, let's try to bring some of these kids down to earth a little bit, like their egos, and let's just temper all of their expectations of life that they think are just going to be. He thinks that they're innovators and they're inventors, and you're not. Your grandparents were the founding fathers.
You're gonna implode.
You're in a carbon fiber Fisher Price submarine, and you're going down there because you're fascinated by a tragedy.
You're a Titaniac.
Yeah, you're a Titaniac.
You're a Titaniac.
Oh my God, what a word! It's
Fucking
demoralizing. It's demoralizing.
You know what's so funny is if the Reddit, the Titanic Reddit blew up, and like the Titaniac Reddit was so fucking funny.
Dude, is there a Titaniac Reddit?
Yes, dude, it's so bad.
You've
It's so
seen
crazy.
it?
It's just horse girls that love the ocean. That's all it is. It's like girls who like we're just obsessed with the movie.
That rocks. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you guys at the bottom of the ocean. We're gonna
See
get
ya.
out of here. Good night.
Night.